Eddie, it's 4 wins in 6. I think the only defeat in that spell was a stoppage time defeat against Manchester City. Does it feel like momentum is starting to find its way back into this club again?
Yeah, we hope so. I think it ebbs and flows very, very quickly, as we know. So we had a difficult run. We were hoping that we could turn that quite quickly. Hopefully we're on the right side of it now. But nothing's ever forever, so we have to continue to give our best.
Does it feel like European qualification is still very much within your own hands, despite that difficult December, difficult run you had? Can you now see the light at the end of the tunnel? Is it what is realistic this season?
I don't know. I don't think we've necessarily looked at it like that. We were still in the FA Cup, so that's a very visible target for us that we're trying to do our best in. Regarding the Premier League, we're in a phase where we're just trying to win every game and see where it takes us. We know that we're coming from a little bit back this year, different to last year. We've got work to do, a lot of work to do. We need to win a lot of games, but anything's possible.
It's interesting that you mentioned the FA Cup there, because from a fan perspective, a trophy is still probably the holy grail here, even more so than finishing top 4 or 5, whatever it might be this year.
Yeah, I think winning a trophy is the holy grail for all of us. We think no differently as players, coaching staff here internally. Desperate to do that, but we have a difficult tie in the next round, but that's something on the horizon that we're looking forward to.
Was the Forest win the type of game you might have lost when you were having that difficult run in December?
Yeah, possibly, because it was a really tight game. There wasn't a lot in it. It was decided on moments, really. Thankfully, we were on top in the sense of getting on top of those big moments in the game. We took our chances when they came. Difficult match, it was always going to be. They were a threat on transitions, we were a threat by controlling the ball and delivering a decent performance. We've still got more to come. I still believe that there's a lot more growth in the team left.
Bruno Guimaraes was outstanding against Forest. How did you think he played, and have you figured out yet what his best position is, because he seems to be able to do so many roles so well?
Yeah, I think he's got more than one position that he can play. Well, we knew that when we signed him. There was the capability of playing higher up the pitch, capability of playing deeper in the pitch. I think wherever he plays, he's a talent. He plays the position his way. It's interesting, he's had quite a lot of press about scoring 2 goals, playing as an 8. And I thought he did play well, but he scored 1 from a set play and 1 playing as a 6. So I don't think I know it's not positionally related as to why he got the goals, but we're just pleased that he did, and he contributed in the way that he did. I thought he was fantastic in the game.
Dan Burn got a lot of criticism over the past couple of weeks. Is that fair? And why has it become an issue in the last month or so?
I think it's the way football is now, that very quickly, I think with social media and different platforms, people can generate an opinion on a player, and that opinion can suddenly build out of nowhere. I think we've seen it with other players this season for us, where it's been quite negative for an individual for a period of time. And that's one of the challenges that the modern day footballer faces, is can they withstand criticism? Are they strong enough mentally to get through that period? Dan's been, I said before the game, he's been incredible for us for a long period of time. Very experienced, highly dependable, reliable, very, very good team player. I think he's been outstanding. So from my side as his manager, I'm delighted with him, and I know all his qualities.
I mean, he's never been the quickest of players, but is what we've seen the last couple of weeks against the quick wingers, is that more about not controlling the midfield as much as you have in previous games? And is that partly to do with the fact that you've had so many midfielders out injured, suspended, whatever it might be? Yeah,
I think whenever you see a potential problem in the team, and you're conceding a certain type of goals, it's never usually at the problem isn't at the actual end point, it's at the beginning point. So yes, I think we've been slightly loose in a couple of areas that previously we haven't been, especially last year, where we're really consistent defensively. And part of that is always your midfield protects your back 4. That's never going to change. So as good as your midfield is defensively, the easier the job is for the defenders behind. And then the better the front 3 protect your midfield, the better it is for the midfield. And so that's the knock-on effect it has on the team. I think we've been hit by not having viable attacking options from the bench where we haven't been able to change players when they're fatigued in the game. That I think has gone a long way to causing some problems for us.
Is Joe Willock close to coming back yet?
I can say this every week. He's close. He is close. He's getting closer with every week. He's doing well. So I'm delighted with his progress, but he's not quite there yet.
How's Sandro Tonali doing? Is he still here? And how's he coping with this spell where this enforced absence?
He's still here, yeah. He's still with us. No, he's not gone back. I think he had one period when he went back for a few days, but no, he's been here. He's been training. He's committed. He's very much like a normal player, apart from the fact we just can't pick him on a Saturday. Apart from that, he's doing everything. He's doing all the training. His attitude's been absolutely brilliant. When you consider he's not got that carrot at the end of the week, he's not got that game. But you wouldn't know it from his training performances. He's been very, very good for the other players that are playing. It's been frustrating seeing him because you know you're missing a top quality player. I'd love to be able to use him at the moment, but I'm seeing some really good things from him.
How's his English coming on?
Yeah, very good. I think his English is improving all the time. He's no problem picking up what we're telling him to do.
If there's one benefit from Sandro's absence, would that be Lewis Miley? Are you surprised at how good he has been this season? You talk about taking an opportunity. I mean, the levels are incredible for someone so young.
Yeah, I think at the start of the season, I really valued Louis. Thought he was going to be an outstanding player for the future. I didn't necessarily know at the start of the season how much football he was going to get. So yeah, Sandro's suspension has obviously increased his opportunities. I have to say he's been incredible for us. Right from that first game when he made the goal against Chelsea very early in the match. The hardest thing I think for any young player is to continue with that consistency to week in, week out, perform at the levels needed. He's only 17, but he's been able to be very consistent, and watching him train this week, there was a couple of moments this week that I remember thinking, wow, what a player for someone of his age to show the maturity that he's had. So we're very lucky to have him.
A lot of people comparing him with Kobbie Mainoo at Manchester United and talking about already that could be a future England midfield pairing. Is that too far down the line, or is that realistically, is that the level he could reach?
I'm reluctant to sort of talk about him in that sense, really. I think because I think it's unhelpful. It's unhealthy for him to look too far ahead. He's so young. I think he just needs to really have short-term vision at the moment, which is just looking at his next training session, his next game, and just trying to be the best that he can be. He's so level-headed. He's so focused. I don't see major pitfalls ahead for him in a sense that his character and his attitude will, I think, remain the same. Very calm. England should be a motivation for him in the future. I'm sure it is, but I don't necessarily want to talk about that now.
Would you say the same about Anthony Gordon, or is he now at the level where he's got to be knocking on that door? He must be close.
Yeah, I'm sure he's close. I'm sure Gareth and his team would have watched Anthony in real detail this season. He's been one of the most consistent wingers in the league, no doubt about that. His overall game, I think, is in a really healthy position, and he's played consistently, which is very difficult to do for a winger in this league with the amount that he gives the game. So I'm delighted with his progress.
Eddie, before we finish, I don't know whether I should admit this, but you gave me a recommendation a couple of months ago. I was telling you I like listening to music late at night doing the drives. So on your recommendation, I listened to a-ha's Greatest Hits and the new album. Tell me why they're your band and where does that come from?
It comes from my youth. It comes from 1984, 85. First discovering music as let me just think what I would have been, 7, 8 years old. And instantly getting attracted to, I'm going to sound real detail here, but Morton Harkett's voice just drew me in. And I'm actually going through a spell at the moment where I'm listening to them a lot. I always go through phases. They're always there in my life. They never go. But sometimes they're really there, and sometimes I just let them take a back seat, and at the moment they're really there. So I'm enjoying listening to them as well.